Alrighty, so yeah, so spectator mode. Have you guys been in here before?
I have not.
This is the hard part because it doesn't show their prefixes up here, so I have no idea who any of those people are, apart from I could probably assume that's Mako.
Well, yeah, Mako is probably MKO. ANS.
ANS is hard. So what do we got? It looks like AMR's got 3 ships coming in together. ANS got 4. Wolf's probably got a Corvette swarm down here. So that's about 4 ships each. So I'd say that's Corvettes. This is likely a battleship.
Well, we know that the Pillar of Autumn, or one of the UNSC ships, is a battleship for sure.
And he had 3 last time, didn't he? So battleship, and I think it was 2 others.
Corvettes, I think.
And then we've got 4 ships over here. So I reckon maybe a mixed group. So it'll be interesting once we get in. We'll actually go through all the different fleets while they make their opening movements. But from the opening positions, I would say AMR is going to point C with support of STO, who'll either go into point A, and I would see ANS Big Bugger moving to point D for that sort of initial capture.
Here we go.
I love the opening intro.
Such a good opening. So I've got Wolf. Looks like he's got frigates. He's got a frigate over on Nix's eye. So yeah, we got a 4v4, Nix's eye, control points. 3K, we've got a lot of new players in here.
So let's have a look at the first ones. ANS Big Bugger, the 4 that we're deploying together, or the 5. Light Cruiser, 4 Corvettes. Each Corvette seems to have some guns and some missiles. And guns, we've also got, looks like a jammer and a bullseye radar, and point defense and missiles.
Yeah, I don't foresee that going well for him. He's fighting against Wolf and Wolf's fleet over here if you take a look.
So let's quickly go through the other ones. STO, gun cruiser with missiles, and looks like railgun destroyers. 1 railgun destroyer, 1 frigate, and a Corvette. A very mixed fleet. AMR's running that's a railgun destroyer. All railgun destroyers. That's a very interesting support fleet. Although I can't see lots of VLS 23s, pretty much only VLS 23s. So it's got no offensive capability other than the destroyers.
Hold on, wait. Look at AMR Hell real quick. Look at the front of that ship. Tell me what you see.
Which one?
AMR Hell, the one of the destroyers up there, the one that's like kind of by itself with the rest of AMR's fleet.
Yep.
Look at the front there. It's
Did you put a
choice of a spinal mount?
It's a hang-up jammer on where a railgun should be. Pinard. Looks like either a jammer. Okay, it's like an E-War destroyer. It's an interesting option. What else we got? So we've got 3 light cruisers down here. This looks like a starter fleet sort of build. Point defense. So MKO is moving to B. We've got AMR that probably won't move anywhere because they're going to be in support, with STO moving to C and ANS moving to D. But Wolf is pretty much already on point D. Oh, they're about halfway actually. So let's have a look at his fleet.
Wolf he actually split his fleet. He's on both sides of the map.
Interesting. So he's running, what are these? These look like 81s. These look like 82s. So 120mm dual barrel cannons. And he's also got Aurora point defense at the back and some EWAR. Okay, interesting. If we go high, we can see at least one battleship, a mix of cannons and railguns.
Yep. That is the UNSC Pillar of Autumn, I believe. Isn't it?
That is correct. And the Harvest and Forward onto Dawn both being Corvettes. Is that another battleship? We haven't shown this one. The NSFS Atlantic. And a third battleship actually being Big Boy.
There's a lot of big ships. I think the only thing we're missing here is no, we've got everything except for heavy cruisers.
We've got everything other than heavy cruisers. So that's 3 battleships on one side.
With a lot of corvettes and frigates.
A lot of corvettes and frigates. And if we jump over to Wolf, we can see the other half of his fleet. So he looks like he's just playing the objective. It looks like it's a mirror fleet. 3 guns and an Iwa frigate for him.
You're going to see Harvest is sprinting down to that middle asteroid. Dylan looks like he's going to go for A, go for an early cap.
Let's have a look for that one. The names don't seem to appear as much, which is actually quite hard to see now.
Which I think that's fine.
I think it's fine.
He's got UNSC seems like they're going to be capped, like watching A. They've got that battleship up top, Pillar of Autumn. Last game we played with him, you saw JD. He did excellent fire support with that battleship.
Absolutely. So if you have a look too, you can see these little red tracks and these little blue ones. So that shows where the ships have been moving to, and the intervals are how fast they're going. So we can see that the NSFS Tahoe is moving north, or sort of above, whilst we've got the rest of the ships sort of all moving forward, whilst the UNSC Pillar of Autumn sort of takes that support role at the back. However, it is getting dangerously close to the rear. So, yeah, I think it's getting too far out.
I don't know how I feel about that, like the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. Like, I mean, a battleship's great, but if those rail destroyers see it, they can just shoot the hell out of him and he won't be able to return fire for a while.
Yep, absolutely. And even railguns, over distance, they start to lose their accuracy and their spread. So we've got the first engagement occurring against the light cruisers and the corvettes. So ANS is taking a significant amount of fire from Wolf, so his frigates, as well as the railguns from the NSFS Atlantic as well. So those railguns are going to destroy these.
Yeah,
there's one.
Already dead.
Taking another hit.
Just absolutely annihilated with that early, just first salvo round, just taking it out instantly.
So this is interesting because the 120s, we don't see a lot of them at the moment, although they've just been reduced in points in one of the previous pre-early access patches. They're actually really good at taking out corvettes and frigates, and you can see that they're firing from their auto loaders pretty quickly.
No, I don't think ANS is going to be long for this world. I mean, he's got the Pillar of Autumn firing down, and anything that misses that light cruiser seems to be getting pretty close to the frigates. And those frigates get chewed up by those gunships.
The corvettes. Yeah, so we've lost a second corvette now.
Yeah.
And we've also got... So the UNSC Pillar of Autumn also has line of sight down. I would imagine the railguns will start.
Oh no, that's who's been firing. The Atlantic's been firing, and the Pillar of Autumn are both just absolutely annihilating that light cruiser. Big bugger I don't think is going to be here. Looks like he's trying to...
Looks like he's capping it, but...
He's capping.
Yeah, he's capping, so he's playing the objective, which is good, but that's going to become a very easy target now that it's not moving for these larger ships. So that one's dead. Wolf needs to switch his targets, but that's alright.
I think he's just making sure
he's pulling back. So it looks like they're sort of thrusting back. If I just jump out for a second, we can see that the railguns from the Keystones from AMR are actually able to get some shots onto this battleship here. Yeah. Although, noting the proximity,
they were
very close. Very close for support ships. I can't remember the range of the railguns, but I think it's at least 10,000 meters.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe he just... Oh, he capped C with them. AMR capped C. Okay, so he's playing point.
He's playing points.
He's doing what he's supposed to.
So a good tactic now would probably be to back these up, because he can maintain line of sight sort of sitting out the back here, really getting that spread in. ANS has lost his corvettes, and he's probably going to lose... that last light cruiser. Let me just zoom in. So that's gone.
Burning down. Yeah.
And I would Yeah, I would see that this one's pretty much taken some significant internal damage, because look at all the vents.
Yeah,
and that's gone.
Lots of damage. It's all kinds of screwed up. They're just putting rounds into those core. Yeah, I mean, he ran right into Wolf and
he ran right in there. So it looks like what's this one? The UNSC forward onto Dawn's going to move in and cap point A, which good, smart move. Battleship is sitting on point E. That's captured. Probably move that away now, because it is, if anything, the battleship should have taken point A and the frigate should have taken point E. It could be a coordination thing, could just be a gameplay thing. Although,
a lot of new players today.
Although I will say that now that I look through point B, that battleship has line of sight on these light cruisers, which are now going to be spotted by Wolf. So we're going to have an engagement over here shortly, and that's going to be able to provide fire support. If it rolls with railguns, it's going to be fairly accurate. Look at that. So that's actually not a dumb move at all, compared to what I was previously commenting on.
Wolf keeping his frigates nice and close to that wall. It doesn't seem like Mako has a track on him there.
No, it doesn't. It's interesting to see why this battleship's rotating, whether to use one of its jammers or other weapon systems, or the fact that it's engaging its thrusters and it's going to move out of this position somewhere else. So ANS is complete. ANS has been destroyed over at point C, so Wolf's going to be able to capture that now, but STO's up here as well. So we've had a reactor explosion from one of these corvettes, and all those ships are dead, but Wolf's just making sure. So let's jump to the other side.
Yeah, the other Wolf has to engage other fleet deck. Light cruisers are firing now. First salvo going in. Trading blows. I have no idea what that is. Ashton, for what I can't pronounce that. It just took about 10 hits though from those light cruisers. Going in.
So I would expect here the light cruisers to win this match, just with the with the 250s and the fact that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Each is going to be using 4. I would expect these ones to win.
He's pulling out. Looks like I can't tell if he swapped targets or. Oh wow, those are way too. Just hitting both ships. Nice. 3 shots. Wolf sees that this is a lost cause. He's pulling out. He doesn't want to waste his ships here.
Look at that spread right there. Like even at that range.
Oh.
So for new players, the downside of cannons is the further they fire, the greater that the spread of the shots are going to impact. So at this range, they're pretty much all hitting. And we can see that by, that first frigate's down. These other ones are starting to really take a lot of damage. Wolf's wisely moving them out, which really just gives point B over to MKO. There's still this battleship here to employ, which seems to just be... I reckon it's rotating to come onto a point, but it should have been firing by now. The minute they came out of that terrain, that battleship should have engaged. But
looks like he's trying to.
Looks like he's trying to rotate.
I don't know how I feel about. I mean, yeah, those light cruisers. They've only got 250s, but there's 3 of them. He's gonna have to put a lot of rounds down there to actually kill all of them quick enough.
Yep.
And it looks like they're actually burning towards him. Guns are facing forward. Trying to rotate a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if the light cruisers will engage or if they're just going to sit here, cap point, what are they capping? Point B, which they've almost got, and then maybe they'll just scoot out.
Delge is being capped by Wolf. Well, he's been playing this pretty smart. STO is pulling back, not engaging.
Yeah, look at that. All of these ships are moving way back, which, makes sense. There's 2 battleships with line of sight over here. There's no point just throwing your ships away for this point. But he has also got the benefit of that terrain. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
If you check out over near Point Charlie, UNSC Harvest is actually really close to those destroyers, and it almost looks like he's got line of sight on one of them. Soon.
I reckon he's got the... yeah, he may actually have it soon.
I think he's trying to... He's being sneaky. Really, I mean, look at that. Like, if you go down to where he is, like, just right there. He's playing that real well. I think he's trying to get a line of sight for his battleship to start firing on those things.
Well, he's also got torpedoes, I reckon, on that ship. So if he can use the asteroid as cover, he'll be able to get around there. But these destroyers, I can't see that they're actually firing on anything. They're actually... the way that they're angled, it doesn't look like they're engaging.
No, it looks like they're just pulling. It looks like they're maneuvering to get away from that battleship. We lost Dr. Mensch. He's after that. I mean, lost all of his ships pretty early on.
Yeah, so here's probably ANS Bugger.
Yeah. Wolf is... No, NFS... what's that? The Banuk is moving it as well. Looks like a little... He's a frigate. Yeah. He's got that Corvette upside down.
The Harvest?
No, the Banuk.
Where is it?
Little
Corvette. He might be trying to point his hard point at something.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Cool. Alright. Okay, so
Banuk.
Mako is actually... Mako's pulling out. Oh, we got missile launches. We got Thunderheads going after...
Yep.
After that. Ooh, here we go. Let's see how the PD is.
So battleships launch. It looks like the light cruisers have taken a bit of a beating from the 120s. Maybe not too bad. But we can see that some of the light cruisers are starting to rotate to bring their electronic warfare and their point defense to face that missiles. So Thunderheads, now's the time to use your blanket jammer. You target the missiles. Just all you need to do is distract the radar heads enough so that they miss, and then they're not going to come back. Another good countermeasure is the use of chaff. Looks like he's firing. Yep, there he goes. Chaff's deployed. So you can see how effective that chaff is.
Yeah, it's moving all the missiles away from him. He's rotated. He's got 2 guns on target. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get out of this pretty much scot-free. Maybe a couple of hits here and there, but...
yeah, I reckon that's fine. Up, see secondary chaff deployment. That's good, as he's moving laterally away. And that's a good... the resources here... Good dodge. The resources he expended there was probably about 3 points and would have counted about 50.
He's still firing on that Wolf's dead ship. I don't think he's given the ceasefire order. Which, I mean, who knows? But, I mean, right now he's pulling away. Honestly, he's done pretty good this fight so far. I mean, Mako went in, Cap B, he's pulling out, and, you know, he's actually kind of anchoring the side over here, I think. I don't think we're going to see Bravo switch sides even if they do lose the game.
It's interesting too, because at the moment, you know, it's still, even though Orange has got 4 points to Blue's 1, that early lead by Blue has actually still put them sort of neck and neck. But it really came at the cost of, you know, one of those fleets, which against 3 other battleships is going to be quite rough.
Speaking of, the Atlantic is taking a lot of railgun fire.
It looks sort of fine. It doesn't actually...
The Hades and them just fire off 3 salvos each and just put rounds into them.
So the destroyers are firing again? Okay, it looks like they've realigned.
They've got targets on the Atlantic. Looks like he's turning his guns to engage the one that's jamming. No, he's not turning his guns at all.
It's interesting because with rails and cannons, it should just be making mincemeat of those destroyers.
Yeah, more railguns coming in.
I think that one missed. I'm not sure. Can't tell.
Looks like, yeah, they're missing. They're going underneath it barely. Ooh, look at Wolf here. He's actually coming up underneath.
That's 3.
Those frigates.
So this is not an interesting tactic, but one that is a lot harder to pull off. Because playing on the underside of the map is a lot harder than playing on the top.
It definitely has a
3-dimensional thinking.
3-dimensional thinking.
Honestly, though, playing from the bottom actually really does help, though. a lot of the guns on the ships are on the top. So if you come up underneath of a battleship, you're only facing one, maybe two of the bigger guns. And, you know, he's got to rotate his entire belly. You know, he's got to turn a 90-degree angle, which takes time, and you might be able to punch through a lot of those softer... Ooh, missile launch.
So
It's
It's a classic Kirk maneuver in Wrath of Khan 2. Come up from under.
So STA's fired Thunderheads. I reckon he's probably going for UNSC Harvest, but we'll see if they rotate around, because at the moment, they're not.
No, it looks like he was just firing at the point.
Yeah. So that missile salvo would have destroyed or severely crippled that Corvette. Just the Corvette was not in place, so you know, goes to show the demonstration of movement within the game. You don't have to dodge them all, you just need to dodge enough. And yeah, playing that underside of the map, if you watch sort of that first battle report, Mazer really is good at that. So we've got... Oh no, they're just ripostes firing. He's really good at that. He plays the underside of the map. It's just getting your head and your eye around actually the three-dimensional movement, which is such a differentiating point within this game.
Harvest being engaged by that USS Amp.
Oh yeah, Hurricanes.
Every single one pounding into that little Corvette. I think they're trying to make it so they can't see the... Like, they're just trying to get the spotter dead.
Yep. Oh, took a railgun. Oh, that was a beautiful shot. These Hurricanes should destroy this. 1, 2, 3.
Are down.
Couple cannons. Yep.
Gone.
And a railgun at the front. That's job done.
Let's take a look over at Bravo.
It's
Bravo,
there.
Wolf's just kind of rotating around. He's coming up and over. Kind of like did a little NASCAR loop, and ooh, that's not good.
The big boy's making his way to B.
Big boy's upside down though. He's got his belly up.
Yeah, it's an interesting maneuver. I wonder if it's he's locked the heading or if he's locked the roll of the battleship, because in this configuration, it's not really... If a missiles came from a top-down attack, you've only got 2-point defense options that are really going to be able to engage. Although...
He's got jammers and shit on the one. I see what he's doing. If you look on his, well, we're going to call it his right side that's now currently facing blue team, he's got a jammer and a radar. So it looks like maybe he's doing this to, you know, try to get eyes on and jam and, you know, get locks on him.
Yeah, I could see, well... at the front, he's got, on my screen at the moment, he's got a hang-up jammer at the front, and then that bulbous sort of radio, like disco ball sort of one, is the interruption jammer, which is the 4K comms and radar. Comms and radar? No, I think it's just comms jammer. I've got to check that. He's also got a target lock.
Harvest is still taking rounds. I mean, it's dead. They're just wasting ammunition. USS Amp is moving out into the middle of the field. Probably spotted Wolf's frigate swarm here, or frigates who appear to be rolling to engage.
And look, the Atlantic is also like very, very close, and it looks like its railguns are engaging the USS Amp.
Wolf's coming up. He's really close with those frigates. He's coming up and over. He's going to be engaging all those destroyers of those frigates, and it's not going to go good. It's not going to go well at all for those destroyers over there.
So I reckon he's also playing all these ships in a formation too. I reckon he set them in the fleet editor. He's deployed them as groups, and now he's just commanding effectively 2 ships, or 2 guide ships, and the rest of them are just following around. So that makes, you know, multi-ship operations really, really simple for him. So blue's capturing point C, whilst orange trades for point B.
I mean, orange has a good lead right now. They went from being in the back to being in the front. I mean, losing that first player to those frigates was definitely rough.
Yeah.
Well played by them. Oh no, USS Atlantic just engaged Amp with all of its guns.
Yeah.
Poor little frigate. I just saw about 6 rounds punch all the way through. That's a lot of damage on the internals.
So what's it got? A Pinard, Defender, VLS 23, and a 120mm 81 Mark 81 gun. Yeah, it's pretty much pretty much job done on that one. It's trying to get our way. It may get away. If it can put...
Pillar of Autumn is engaging the Mako fleet. Looks like they rotate up and around, and he's covering the other battleship. Putting a lot of railgun rounds into Ruby of Adi.
It's amazing to watch a railgun broadside if you zoom in and put cinematic on.
How do you do that?
Use the tab key. Cycle through detailed, condensed, and pretty much no UI. It has an official name. I can't remember what it is. But you can still click on ships then and press F, and it zooms to them. So you sort of just bounce from one to the other. You can follow things in. Yeah. And they're making good hits.
A couple of times and you can get all the names back.
Yep. Yeah, so you can cycle through effectively cinematic mode and detailed mode. So when you get all the thunderheads coming in on the screen and you're like, I don't want to see it all, just tab to the next option and it removes them all. So these light cruisers look like they're trying to stop, but trying to stop in this location is probably the worst they can do. But they are capturing Point E. Or trying to capture Point E? No, they're nowhere near it. They need to use terrain to get out of the line of sight.
I mean, there's not a lot of terrain near them. I mean, it looks like he's trying to break towards that asteroid, maybe. But...
So if you jump back over to Wolf, Wolf's engaging the STO USS Cobra, which is pretty much just listing, but Wolf's ships are taking some railgun fire up from AMR. And he looks like he's retreating. Wolf is. I think he's popped out. He's fired some shots off. They're going to damage this destroyer, but then I think he's going to get out.
Offline. Yeah, no, the destroyer doesn't have its reactor online. It's dead in the water, just floating there. Yeah, that thing's dead. It's got a bunch of those frigates coming out.
And it's also taking shots from the Atlantic as well. So it's caught in this sort of crossfire of 450 and sort of 120 millimeter. 120 millimeter guns.
He's still firing with the AMR is still putting rounds downrange into those frigates, and I think the Ashina.
Yep, Cobra's out.
Cobra's good. I think the Ashina is the lead ship. If not, it's going to be the.
I think he's named his ships almost the same. Ashinawak. It's very kind of a Japanese. Yeah. All right. So the Ford onto Dawn has now fired thunderheads at the USS Amp. That was the one that the Atlantic was firing on, and it got behind the cover of the asteroid in front of it. It's not dead. Not dead, but it probably doesn't have any DC, so it's probably just going to sit there and burn internally. By the looks of it, it's got internal fires. So I would consider that almost out. Yeah.
It's dead, yeah. That was a really good kill on his part, though. Came up under that, just knocked out that.
Yep.
Corvette.
It looks like the Ruby, MKO's Ruby of Adi is sort of stopped. It's not dead, but I reckon it's taken a fair beating. So from the rails, it's probably trying to repair, whilst the other two light cruisers start to move away. And there we go. Cobra's had a reactor blow.
That's the second one this game.
Just remembering too that when your reactor blows, it does create jamming interference for the ships nearby.
Might help out the Quick and the Retha to get kind of distance from those frigates, but I mean, they control the entire battlefield here. I mean, the only point they don't have is C, and they're taking that right now. This is pretty much cut and dry and done now. I mean, they've got Big Boy underneath those light cruisers. They've got the Ford onto Dawn and the Pillar of Autumn up high. Like, I don't think they're gonna get out of this one.
This was a 3v3, wasn't it?
No, 4v4 actually.
Yeah. So with 3 battleships on one side, that's just a crazy amount of armor that you've got to punch through. That alone makes it hard. The Pillar of Autumn sort of sat up the top the whole game. We initially considered that as what is it doing? But look, it's just railgun support really, and it's done well.
it doesn't have the spinals, but I mean, it's still putting just lots of damage downrange, and I bet whenever we look, it's going to have one of the highest damages in the game.
I would not be surprised. And, you know, from its positioning, you know, you've got to follow that sort of curve of that white line to where it actually is on the map. It's high, it's far, it's able to have that standoff distance, and no one can get close. There's so many fleets in between it, and that's just a really good positioning.
And not only that, I mean, do you want to rush down a battleship across all that open space?
Nope.
I mean, he is the closest thing to him is probably, I'm going to say, probably 2 or like at least 5 clicks away with that asteroid. That's just 5 clicks of open space you have to cover.
Yep.
Good luck, you know?
It's interesting to see the NSFS Tahoe. It doesn't actually have anything on its external mount, so I'm wondering if that's just like a spyglass or a parallax corvette, maybe a spyglass corvette, just for sort of that identification, early warning.
He's been sitting up there the entire game not doing anything, so I think that's what he's been doing, is just providing oversight.
And again, it works because, you know, he's positioned that pretty close to the Pillar of Autumn. Nothing's really getting in there, and it's so far away from... It's about 15 kilometers away from the nearest ship. So, you know, enough to provide the information, but not enough to actually be anywhere near range. Missiles only have 14,000.
MKO Rudy has gone down, but we do have...
Nice.
Mako's fleet is ducking down into Bravo, and Big Boy is actually rotating and getting right up on top of that cave system. I think what we're going to see is Mako's going to come around that edge and just get absolutely hammered by this battleship's frontal guns.
Yep. Yeah, I would totally agree.
A lot of rail guns. These are like going up against this many battleships. That's
just hard. Yeah, I don't know sort of what. I think regardless of any sort of player, you know, just the stats on those ships are pretty high, limited, but still pretty high.
They didn't have the mobility, but Wolf. I mean, this is.
Here we go. Marco's fleets are coming out, and they're about to see the battleship. So he probably doesn't see this because of the radar signature, and there's nothing else to provide that early warning over on the left-hand side. So there we go. There's Big Boy.
Yeah, probably going to have a really nasty fire on Mako here, whose guns are actually pointing the right way, but he's underneath, and what's Big Boy doing?
You can see that light cruiser start to burn really hard to stop.
Big Boy's not turning his guns. Oh, no. Guns are traversing. Listen to that sound effect when you get nice and close. You can hear the rail guns. Such a nice game. Beautiful.
Yeah, you can see it's now starting to rotate. Although, if he had known that they were moving there, he could have rotated early. Doesn't really matter. Nah, not really. At this range, he's not going to miss. And he's got more than enough capabilities to just sort of sit on this point and capture it.
He's going to fire here in just a second. Oh, what are those?
250s? Yep.
Yeah, 250. 250s are not going to... I don't think they're going to be able to take out this battleship who's just kind of sitting there with his guns. Probably got his jamming going too, honestly.
I have a feeling that the green projectiles from guns are ammo piercing, and I think yellow is HE. I have to check that as well, but that sounds about right.
It's being launched from the back side. I think they're going to... Yeah, no, they're all going to impact, though.
Battle over. That's it, 1,000.
That's it. 1,370.
Yeah, he's just dumping all those Thunderheads right into the...
Honestly, I think what's won them this game right here was they had Wolf on both sides, a lot of mobility, and he was able to move in, instantly just descend on that little fleet over on Delta with the support of the 2 battleships just pounding that light cruiser.
Yeah.
And that early game knockout of that entire fleet, the player fleet, was definitely what won in this game.